here we are. What's going on, everybody? It's my friend Dan. I never mix Clucas.
It's Clucas, just like Lucas with a C on the front.
There you go. And now I got
C.
the
Lucas.
pronunciation right.
My middle initial is L, not C.
And we were just talking about plunger modifications.
Plunger, such as this, household toilet plunger.
Yep. And ways to enhance the grime, and growl of your plunger. And so Dan is oh yeah.
So that's your standard, plunge mute sound.
Right.
So Matt is about to instruct me in the ways of the Ellington standard.
Yeah, there's
horn plungerism.
The Duke Ellington guys had a way to modify their plungers, but I'm not going to tell it on camera. This is strictly on the down low, and it's kind of like not. It's like a secret. So we're not even going to talk about it.
It's a horn player legacy thing. No offense, everyone, but I guess that part's going to be
It's like some real trumpet stuff, some like inside trumpet cornet stuff. So, man, you live in LA or you're in Pasadena? I don't know, how far is Pasadena from LA?
Pasadena is adjacent to LA, northeast of LA. It's an old city community in terms of Southern California old. A lot of the money that originally built the city of LA sort of was funneled through Pasadena. A lot of religious organizations and a lot of sort of blue blood money that came from other parts of the country settled in Pasadena and started sort of building helping to build the rest of Los Angeles. I lived in Highland Park, which is a part of northeast Los Angeles, for quite a while, and about 3 years ago was priced out. And but I landed in a pretty much compatible spot in Pasadena, and I live a stone's throw from Pasadena City College, where my good friend and mentor and teacher Bobby Bradford taught for many years. In fact, that's where I met him. So I kind of, when I'm sitting at home, I don't have to listen to Bobby's records when I'm at home. I just open the window and soak up the vibe from PCC that's still coming.
Very cool, yeah.
Yeah, from there. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's where I live.
Cool. And
nice to be in New York. Only my second time in 15 years. I'm loving it.
Yeah, welcome to Astoria Park.
Thank you, sir. I feel like I know this place. I don't know why.
Yep. And there's the RFK Bridge that I'm so obsessed with, and we're out here, and so we're connecting East and West Coast. Bobby makes it to the city every now and then. I saw Bobby Bradford during the Font Trumpet Festival 5 or 6 years ago. He had two bass players.
Uh-huh.
I remember that. I remember one was Ken Filiano. And,
okay, great. Ken's
the
awesome.
other guy was Mark Dresser, maybe?
Yeah, probably Dresser, because Mark Dresser was an old student of Bobby's also, quite a few years before I was, and down in the San Diego area, which Dresser now lives down there now. He's been back in San Diego for, I think, over 10 years. And so, yeah, it probably was Ken Filiano and Mark Dresser. That would make a lot of sense.
That was a great set.
Yeah, Bob has always been partial to that. He and John Carter used to use two bass players when they would augment their quartet into a quintet. Sometimes they would have, along with Tom Williamson, who I had the distinct pleasure of meeting a couple of years ago, and then he died soon thereafter. So I felt, very grateful to have met him just once. And then sometimes Henry Franklin, they would augment the group with Henry Franklin or Roberto Miranda. Mm-hmm. So they were always very fond of the two bass aesthetic, as was Bill Dixon. And I really dig that two bass thing too. It really blends things up in there.
I got to try it.
Actually, I don't think I've ever done a group with two basses, even though I just like that situation a lot. And probably will at some point.
I know I've seen it used to great effect. When Ornette had Greg Cohen and Tony Falanga, he said,
yeah,
Tony would bow, and Greg would do the pitch thing.
I saw that group at UCLA. That was the last time I saw her.
And they would kill it. And Ross, my brother Ross Moshe does multiple
Ross Moshe,
basses.
I've heard of that guy.
Hey, and you played with
Ross.
Hey, Ross, what's up, man? So, you just played with Ross on Monday.
I did.
Ross,
distinct pleasure.
He sometimes uses three basses.
What?
And
all right.
It's definitely something that I need to try out and get into. I've been trying to get more harmonic anyway. But I was in all my Ornette research. I was just looking at in the Coltrane reference book. There's talk about a series of Ornette live gigs with Dewey Redman and Bobby Bradford as a three-horn lineup, doing a bunch of gigs in New York.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that ever. On Science Fiction, on the record Science Fiction, there's a little bit of that, but apparently that was a working ensemble with the three horns up front.
Yeah.
I always wanted to hear more Bobby with Ornette than is out there, and I know that a lot more went down.
Yeah.
And I saw some evidence of that.
A lot more went down than is out there for sure.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot out there. Bob would. That's something that I could ask Bob about next time I see him. But I think that you know the Broken Shadows album, right?
Sure.
Yeah, the companion. It's a companion volume to Science Fiction, and that's more representative of that working lineup because that's the Broken Shadows band minus Don Cherry.
Right.
And then on Science Fiction, you have all of those guys, of whom I've been sort of prone to reflect lately that Bob is now the last living participant in the Science Fiction sessions. And so I always feel very fortunate to have Bob around. But these days I've been feeling much more fortunate.
Yeah.
And,
I know he's
trying
done
to see him whenever I can.
I know he's done stuff in Europe with my friend Sabir Mateen. They've hooked up in Europe at different times too.
Yeah. Sabir was an LA guy. He was involved with UGMAA with Horace Tapscott and before he came to New York. Yeah. I might be getting the chronological details a little sketchy there.
And then Ornette himself playing trumpet. I recently found a recording it's a live recording in '87, and it starts with Ornette and Don both playing trumpet together.
What?
And it's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, because that's why Ornette started playing trumpet. He said because he once he didn't have Don Cherry around, he wanted a trumpet player who could play like Don Cherry, so he chose himself.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna make sure you get access to that track after we play.
Very good.
And speaking of playing,
we might as well do something.
We're gonna do something
before we lose everybody.
And you really couldn't ask.
We might lose everybody after we start playing.
Yeah.
But at least we tried.
They're like, oh man, they're not talking anymore, man. I'm out. So we're surrounded by a lot of Astoria Park people.
Yes. So we're gonna play really loud.
But it looks like we're just gonna get into this as the clouds roll on by. All right, man.
Hey, I was just about to come back in. No, I wasn't.
So as you can see, Dan and I are having fun.
We are having fun.
And don't get it twisted. We both actually have jobs and work hard all the time. This ain't like we got nothing to do on a Friday, so we in the park playing jazz vibe. Don't get it twisted.
It's kind of an important issue.
Yeah.
That,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, well, a lot of our brethren and sistren, are fortunate enough to work as professional musicians. But there's also a perception that professional musicians that do not work very hard, and nothing could be further from the case.
That's right.
And I think that perception is partially what is partially contributive to the idea that it's okay not to pay musicians for what they do, and that is also, there's nothing else could be further from the truth. Musicians work extremely hard to do what they do, and there's a lot of toil, and there's a lot of pain involved. And some of us choose. I consider the fact that I have a day job to be somewhat of a, in ways, somewhat of an easier route. And not that my day job is easy. It's not. I work as an art handler in Los Angeles. That's not an easy job. And I save my pennies so that I can travel and hang out with fine people like Matt and play music. And it's not all the time, and it's certainly not in the park like this. Of course, many of my friends in Facebook land are familiar with my own still photos of my chosen practice spots. But that's on weekends and on evenings after the day job is through, when I have the energy.
That's the way we connected, because Dan saw me out here by the bridge all the time, and he contacted me and said, "Hey man, I'm over here in this garden right now playing," and we found out we both like to play outside whenever possible, connect to nature.
It's a growing movement. There's others. There are others of us out there. We are legion.
If you're gonna tune the world, as I like to say, sometimes you got to get out in the world. So, but to Dan's point, I've had a day job, like a 40-hour day gig, since like '88.
Yep.
And sometimes, man, after the gig, you try to get to the horn, and you'll roar out.
Yep.
But a lot of times,
Jackie McLean talked about it. You seen Jackie McLean on Mars?
Yeah.
You know that film, right? Where he's teaching it. Is it Bennington? I think it's Bennington. He's wearing that fat bow tie.
Yep.
And the interviewer asks him a question about practicing, and it's the one time he kind of flares up and the whole thing. He's like, practice.
Yeah.
I'm too tired to practice. When I come home from teaching, it was like, I don't know, 100 students or something like that.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
Yeah. Then it shows him practicing at the beginning and the end of the film. That's kind of ironic.
I know a lot of times when I make it here to the bridge, I'll have it's either before or afterwards. And sometimes afterwards, you gotta dig deep to try to get something going.
Yeah.
So, but there's lots of musicians out there, and the musicians that do work professionally, like taking whatever gig they can get. I've crossed paths with folks like that at Michigo, and the versatility is amazing. But it's also very challenging for them.
Yes.
To play for big audiences, and the next thing you know, you're playing like weddings or all kinds of stuff. But
and the contractual aspects of it.
I used to take gigs like that, man. I had a trumpet gig once, or OTB. Remember off-track betting? It was this retail gambling thing.
Okay.
OTB.
Okay. Yeah.
They had a party, and they hired me to do the horse race announcement at the party. So I had to show up and do it's like I forget what it was.
Yeah.
But they
Is
gave
it reveille or some? It's a bugle call.
Something like the horses just took off.
Right.
And they gave me $50, and that was the gig. I mean, I'm not really into gigs like that anymore.
Yeah, no, me either.
Because you also don't know when the next time OTB is gonna call.
Right. doing recording sessions or whatever, especially taking something like that on a weekday. That, without mentioning any names, the last paid recording session I did was in Hollywood, and I kept getting phone calls. We're not ready for you yet. We're not ready for you yet.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I was working at Trader Joe's at the time, and I was like, I got to be to work at 6 a.m. Finally, at 8:30, I get the call. We definitely need you. Go from Highland Park to Hollywood. They didn't need us yet.
Yeah.
They were doing coke in the control room or something.
Yeah.
And they didn't call us for another couple of hours. Then they wanted us to do a head arrangement for free, which anybody who doesn't know what a head arrangement is, it's basically coming up with an orchestration on the spot in the studio or whatever context you're in. So, if you like, if they want a horn part that's over a certain something, then everybody kind of gets together and just comes up with something off the top of their heads, and it requires a lot of skill, a lot of listening, a lot of ear training, and then these particular people wanted us to do that, and then it's for free, which is that's always it seems to be the case, at least these days anyway, because it's just not understood again what kind of effort and skill and training comes into play in being a musician.
One thing I learned from Carl Berger, he said in the 70s, guys had more free time, and they would be playing all day, every day, and as a result, everybody got deeper and deeper and deeper on their chops. So my thing is, when we do get a chance to hit, then I'm trying to get to that spot, because and Ornette's thing too, and you might have got this through Master Bradford. A lot of times it's by doing is when this stuff really develops. And then like Ornette's rehearsals would be like all day long, day after day, one tune for 8 hours. So if we only have a couple hours of strength left, we gotta hit it. But sometimes we also just want to relax and have fun. So like the music that we played a few minutes ago was not like desperate. It was like happiness at being alive. But hopefully
Desperately happy.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully there's an urgent need for people to exist as they really are.
Yeah, man. Here we go. Nice segue into the next.
Hey, Charles Waters, what's up, man? Charles Waters.
What's up, Charlie?
Charles, man, post your gardening gig on the thread, man. So, because Dan's playing the Red Shed Garden with Charles Waters tomorrow.
I certainly am. It's going to be a good time. not sweeter. Shorter.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be sweeter. It's a
And,
beautiful park. Beautiful
yeah.
day here in New York City.
Well, we definitely appreciate people stopping by, and I've often felt like I had to explain just why I do so much streaming. I mean, what's the difference between Spotify and all that, you know? And but the truth is that I ain't got I got no other options at this point, you know. Like I put this on Facebook a couple weeks ago. I mean, yeah, do we want to like hit Europe and do tour? We want to do all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
if it's not there, we still gonna play. We're gonna play no matter what.
We're going to play wherever we are and encourage those who are playing to play wherever they are.
Yeah.
Because music is a part of the fabric of the world.
Indeed.
I'm not going to go on a diatribe against the system
Yeah.
or whatever. The music business, that's for another time.
Yeah.
But to me, music is about being part of the fabric of the world. That it is, you know, it should be something that is a part of everyone's daily lives, regardless of their, you know, ability within any kind of, you know, music system, Western music, Eastern music, any kind of, you know, virtuosity. I'm not against virtuosity. But I believe everyone is a musician.
Yeah.
And that means a lot of different things. That doesn't necessarily mean picking up an instrument and jamming out on it. Being a musician to me just means being a human and having a rhythm in your life, in whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what music is for. And so that's to me what playing in the park is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like things like this, you know, like bass clarinets or cornets and stuff. They tools in a way to connect to that deeper part of yourself. And I have to use the segue. It's too in my face. It's like a bridge.
Oh no!
It's like a bridge between you and your deeper parts of yourself. That's what we trying to all remember.
Yeah, man.
So if you come down here, you know the bridge is symbolic. The bridge is symbolic of a lot of things. But I also like to look at the bridge and be like, damn. I mean, human beings built that. I mean, that is a serious accomplishment. You know, I mean, yeah.
That's a serious discussion too.
Yeah, and human beings build pyramids too, but
yeah.
we are capable of doing so much more than fighting each other all the time.
Right. You look at something like a bridge, and sometimes I would get overwhelmed by how is it possible that human beings could do that? But you start thinking back in history.
Yeah.
Bridges started being built a long time ago.
Yeah.
And people learned gradually, and they pulled together, and they found different ways of working together. And there was a lot of pain and suffering and toil and slavery involved in it.
Even and death. I mean, some people like some of the New York bridges. Some of the stuff I read about, people died.
Yes.
Trying to make them. Yeah.
But these are things that happen over time.
Yeah.
And time is still happening, and hopefully we still have time to alter some things that seriously need altering. We weren't going to go there today, were we?
We're not. We're not. But all I'll say is this: that bridge will never be named after him. That's my word.
Okay.
I'll try to stop it. Nice ending, man. Very nice. You know, the Bobby Bradford, John Carter duets, man.
Oh yeah, the tandem.
Boys, that's some incredible stuff.
Oh man, that's I got those on my phone right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't travel without them.
If y'all don't know John Carter and the Bobby Bradford, John Carter duets, check that out.
Mm-hmm.
ASAP.
Yeah. John Carter and or Bobby Bradford in any context.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Carter made a few really good records out here in New York. They were both of them were mainly based in Los Angeles and are very, very important people to us out there on the left coast. Yeah, we do exist.
Yeah. I gotta check his discography, man. I know there's a lot that I have to check out.
But John did some writing for Octet in the late '80s. It was sort of a quintilogy, if you will, of works. It was really following history of the African American people. Heavy stuff. But he performed that music a few times in LA. It's hard to get a group even of 8 people together, and I saw it performed live there. But the records were, there was another instance like we were talking about earlier, where someone was actually asked to use New York musicians instead of West Coast musicians, for marketability reasons, which is totally cool. So on these records, he's got Andrew Cyril, and he's got Fred Hopkins, and he's got Marty Ehrlich, and he's got so check those records out, people. John Carter.
Want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
All right, guys. So this is the first episode of the Bridge Sessions, and I'm honored to have Dan Clucas.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for having me.
As the first cat.
Real pleasure.
And not the last time, because anytime you're in New York,
I will be in New York again.
now it looks like this might be a seasonal kind of thing,
Awesome.
because once it gets down to like, I've tried to come down here like when it's like 50 degrees and 48 degrees, and it's hard.
And I'm from
especially for
California,
brass.
so I'm out.
Especially
Admittedly,
for brass.
we are the biggest weather wimps in the world. That's one thing that we have to admit. We have no choice. It's hard for us to live anywhere else.
Actually, I heard recently in Cuba it went down to 50 degrees for a few days, and people were losing it, man.
Wow.
It's like if you're used to other climates,
Yeah.
but playing outside down here by the river, you can't really. The river's right there, below 50 degrees. It's pretty hard to do. But if Dan is in town and it's above, let's say 55,
I'll do it if it's 50. Which is where park is.
then we'll do
I
it.
saw Joe McPhee play last night, and he came out of the second set, and he had changed costume. He was wearing a hoodie.
Okay.
He had his hoodie pulled down over his shades.
Oh, wow.
He sounded beautiful. It was the first time I'd gotten to hear him live. I was
Did he play pocket trumpet?
The first set he played only pocket trumpet.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was so glad to hear that. Yeah.
I think Joe is my favorite pocket trumpet.
Oh, he's
artist.
beautiful, man. It was so good to hear him play that instrument
Well,
live.
he's a master at that
I was
thing.
blown away.
Yeah.
And I've always loved his recordings. I'm going to hear him again in Kingston on Sunday night.
Yeah, I think Joe is from up there.
Yeah, he lives in Poughkeepsie.
And there's a bridge up. There's actually a bridge up. I used to live near a bridge up there, going right into Poughkeepsie. I've never considered playing music there. I have to talk to Joe about that next time.
Joe. Maybe I'll talk to Joe about it on Sunday.
But so the bridge sessions, I'm gonna invite a lot of my friends to come down and do these sessions with me.
Please come down and do this with this man. This is I've had such a wonderful time in New York, but this is an absolute highlight right now.
Very cool. Thanks, man.
So much fun.
Thank you, man. So you're in the 12 houses. I don't know if you know it. You're in the 12 houses.
Okay, I'm in the 12 houses.
And if we have a gig here or there, you're in, man.
Okay, cool.
Once you're a house,
I'll
it's
be
for
there.
life. It's for life.
Right.
You do one, this is it. Your membership for life. You're already paid in full.
All right, cool. Cool.
So we're gonna send you all off with a little bit more music here. Thanks for stopping by.
Mr. Lavelle.
Very nice.
Indeed.
Right.
Thank you so
brother.
much. Thank you all who have been at this moment, all 5 of you. I'm sure there were more
Yeah.
at various times.
Have a great day, everybody. Peace.
Peace.